Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching, look at that, The Political Vigilante, making Gotham great again. So, back in August, we watched as Afghanistan collapsed after we pulled out of there, and people, whatever, it's Joe Biden's fault. I'm no fan of Joe Biden. I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but the collapse of Afghanistan was not on Joe Biden. It's on the American empire. Let us not forget, 4 presidents from both political parties spent $3.5 trillion for 20 years. And the only thing that happened was the Taliban was replaced by a more heavily armed with U.S. equipment Taliban. And so ultimately, I'm glad we're out of Afghanistan. We should have, we should have been out of there after 3 years. We should have gone in there and anyway. But we 20 years and $3.5 trillion. No one was nothing. The Afghan army, nothing. We didn't train anybody. Like nothing happened. And now the Taliban's in charge, and it's chaos, of course. And it just shows you that the goal of Afghanistan was not to rebuild that country. It wasn't like what we did with Japan and Germany after World War II, where we spent money with the Marshall Plan to get those countries back up. And look at that. 20 years later, Tokyo hosted the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, which was 20 years after World War II. It was sort of like Tokyo was being welcomed back into the international community because the West spent money to rebuild it. The goal was just to spend endless money. The military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us against is just an endless stream of money and crazy wasted money. So there's humanitarian efforts, and Afghans are, of course, it's the Afghan people. We were never there to help Afghan people. We were never there to help soldiers we sent, military, that was many of their intention, but the people who really call the shots, it was just about money. And we've seen that thanks to sanctions and humanitarian efforts, they can't even get help. Humanitarian exemptions to crushing U.S. sanctions do little to prevent collapse of Afghanistan's economy. This was December. This is from Lee Fang in The Intercept. Well, one of the things we talk about a lot on this show, especially the last year and a half, is how crypto can circumvent sanctions and corrupt governments, be they the American corrupt government or the Afghan and Taliban corrupt government. So Lee Fang just released this. Starving Afghans use crypto to sidestep U.S. sanctions, failing banks and the Taliban. NGOs looking to provide emergency aid to Afghanistan are turning to cryptocurrency. This is what is amazing about crypto. This is what people like Michael Saylor and Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert, his wife, who we've had on this show, talked about. We're going to get into it. I'm going to show you, because the banks are sort of corrupt. The Taliban doesn't want you to do anything, and America's sanctioning. So how do these NGOs, these non-for-profits that are trying to help Afghanis, of course, the real victims in all of this, we can't even send them money. Aid stuff gets stolen. Like, how do we do this? Crypto. Code to Inspire, which is an NGO that this Afghani Furo founded, was teaching computer programming to young Afghan women, and the Taliban opposed secondary education for women. Okay? So we spent $3.5 trillion to do nothing. This should have ended, this should have been fixed a long time ago for $3.5 trillion. Okay. I just want to keep pointing out how much of a waste of time and money and human lives in Afghanistan, right? Just make that point. But so this Code to Inspire, because under the Taliban, women are not allowed to learn this kind of education. So Furrow looked for a way to provide emergency checks to the women, but was stymied by banks that didn't want to risk violating severe U.S. sanctions. Joe Biden himself just said, like a month ago, Bitcoin makes it hard for America to sanction people. Yeah, that was the point. That's why they created. That's why Satoshi, whoever that person or persons was like, America, you don't get to screw over countries, because sanctions, we've talked about this, is an act of warfare. And America's like, we're losing our power. So look at this. This is, we think our sanctions are, all sanctions do is hurt the people of that country. And the thinking is, oh, we'll sanction them and then they'll rise up. Oh, bullshit. God, rise up what? Against the awful government that the US usually put in there? What happened at 20 years in Afghanistan it's unreal how much that was a waste. And as a comedian who went there 3 times, 04, 06, 07, it just sickens me to see how America went there, blew the country up, just made a bunch of money, didn't care about the Afghan people, doesn't care about the veterans. We just spit in it's unbelievable. And then, so the whole goal was to help Afghan women. We can't even help them through these non-for-profits. But they, thanks to cryptocurrency, in response, she turned to cryptocurrency to provide monthly emergency payments to help students afford enough food to survive, because their students were not only not having the money for the school, but they didn't have money to eat. Because of all these sanctions and the economy that and this country has completely collapsed because we just wasted money. The two big winners out of it, the 20-year war in Afghanistan, Taliban and the military industrial complex. They made great money. I mean, all that money they made great money. The Afghans absolutely lost. American service members that we lost. So this is why I'm so big on cryptocurrency. Code to Inspire pays its recipients in BUSD, a so-called stable coin whose value is tied to the US dollar. And then the women converted to Afghanis, the local currency at money exchanges. Just to be clear, stable coin, and this is something I talk a lot about. If you're a Rockfin premium member, Monday nights at 8 o'clock Pacific time, we do Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge, and we talk a lot about cryptocurrencies and stable coins. And stable coins, what you can do is you can convert a cryptocurrency to a US dollar stable coin, and it keeps it at a $1 to $1. So let's say you had a full Bitcoin, which is trading today at, I think, around $40,000, and you wanted to sell it without having to pay capital gains tax, you could convert the 40,000 to a stable coin, and now you have $40,000 in this. And the stable coin price, if Bitcoin drops from 40,000 to, let's say, 30,000, the stable coin stays the same. Whatever you bought in at 40,000, that's what it stays at. Just to give you just sort of a basic overview of what a stable coin is. So people can donate, because a lot of Afghanis have relatives back in the States. In the 80s, when the Soviet invasion, a lot of Afghanis left and came to America or to other countries in Western Europe, right? So their family members are like, how do I send money back to my family in Afghanistan? Well, now they're doing this, right? So they pay their recipients in BUSD, a so-called stablecoin whose value is tied to the US dollar, and then the women converted to Afghanis, the local currency money exchanges. We created a safe way for our girls to cash out their crypto and pay for expenses, so they can pay for medical expenses and food and everything that's needed. Afghans fleeing the Taliban can take their assets with them without risk. This is another benefit too, right? If you've got cash, a bunch of gold, whatever, you've got a whole crate full of Afghani dollars and the Taliban is running over your village and you got to split. That's hard. This is another one of the many upsides of cryptocurrency, because you can just leave and keep it on your, most people. This is the thing we've talked about. There's 2.5 billion people in the world that are unbanked, that don't have access to traditional banking, but they have a smartphone. And I'm going to show you in a second. It's 88% of Afghanis have at least one smartphone in their family. So they have access to this. See how easy this is? So Afghans fleeing the Taliban can take their assets with them without risk. Humanitarian agencies seeking to bypass banks and discreetly avoid the Taliban can provide cash directly to those in need. Smugglers and intermediaries who may steal or try to resell aid packages can be circumvented if aid is given directly through a digital transaction. Now, this has happened not just in Afghanistan. This has happened all over the world. They send aid, right? Whatever. boxes of food. So anyone can steal. How do we know the aid is getting to the people that need it? People can steal it at the airport, or they pay off their buddy and they grab some of it and then they resell it when that's aid that should be free. Remember in Iraq, during the Iraq war, a pallet of $900 million in cash just disappeared. Weird. We've talked about it on this show. We've talked about it on Government Secrets in Afghanistan. There was just colonels and captains who just had 200 grand in cash. They were just giving out to warlords. They don't know who was getting it. That all gets circumvented with cryptocurrency. We can't get enough money through banks, but 88% of Afghan families have at least one smartphone, said Kakar, whose hopes to facilitate money transfers of Afghanis along with USDC, US digital currency, another stablecoin. You can trade back and forth, send it overseas, or receive it overseas without ever touching banks, without touching the Afghan government or the Taliban, said Kakar. It's all on the blockchain network. So if you have any relatives or friends in Afghanistan or any poor part of the world, this is a way to help them out. They did this in El Salvador. So this is a code to inspire. There might be other organizations in Afghanistan that could use your help. You know what sending $20 in cryptocurrency would do to somebody in Afghanistan that's starving right now? They circumvent all of it. The Taliban, the corrupt Afghani government, the banks that are sanctioned by the United States empire, all of it. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. That's how you make Gotham great again. Shave your knuckles for justice. It breaks my heart what happened in Afghanistan because I went there. But a story like this gives me a little hope. Cryptocurrency gives me a little hope. Bitcoin gives me a little hope. Like Max Kaiser says, you can't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. This can empower the whole. That's what Bitcoin was designed for, to empower the whole world. Rather than 1% of the population owning all of the wealth and everybody else, this can lift people out of poverty. I've been to Afghanistan. The poverty there is nothing like you've ever seen. If you want to get a little idea what Afghanistan looks like, it's from a while ago, but my movie, Afghanistan, is available at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin is a blockchain, and they pay the content creators in cryptocurrency. They don't censor us, and you can watch all my movies and all my other content over there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood. And go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.